In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use DisplayGenie to create a box like the one you see in this picture. This box here is 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches, and it has these holes in it that are 3/8 of an inch to use to rivet the box together. So let's go to DisplayGenie and have a look. So I could use a pre-designed template and modify it, but in this case I think the better thing to do is to use the FreeForm. So I'm going to go to the little icon up here on the toolbar and click on it. That will open up DisplayGenie and the FreeForm properties, and so I'm going to get started here. I'm going to stretch this out, give me a little more working room. So to begin with, I'm going to go to my material and check what material I'm using. I want to use a corrugated material with, I'll use the B flute, and then I no longer need that. So I'll go to dimensions, and using this box, like I said, is 12 by 12 by 12. So I'm going to enter my baseline as 12 inches, and then in my quick entry dimensions, I'm going to use 12 inches. We'll set this one to 5 15/16, and then this one we'll just set to 3 inches. That gives us our quick entry dimensions. So using my mouse on the line here, I'm going to right click and at line, add a basic flap. I'll hold down my number 1 key and left click, and that gives me my 12-inch square starting point for the box. So I'm going to do that again and just at line, basic flap. Now I could go all the way around and just put the flaps on like that, but there's an easier way. Since we already have a flap created here, just do a copy and paste. So just do Control C and go back here. I need another one here. So Control V to get your paste, and then I'm going to do one more up here. Now I want to get my flaps that are the 5 15/16. So double click on this to make it the active section. Right click at line. I'm going to do at line. I want the basic flap, and that's not what I wanted to do, but not to worry. I can go down here to my undo and just click the undo. You can also do the redo, so if you go too far with the undo, you can return to where you were with the redo. So I'll take an at line again, basic flap. I'm going to click on my number 2 dimension there because that's the one that I want to get. Now instead of adding the flaps, I'm going to go ahead and set my hole up so that I can, when I add the flaps, I already have the hole by doing the copy and paste. So we'll double click on this one, and now let's zoom in. The way I'm going to do this hole is I'm going to first set my snapping to snap to grid, and right click, and my grid spacing is already set up at 3/16, which is the radius of the hole that I want to make, and so that's good. But I want to make this hole relative to this flap here. So in the bottom right hand corner, I'm going to click my little globe button here, and when I unclick that, then now it's relative to my flap here, the one that I have selected. So to put this hole in, I'm going to use a add machine step here. Where I want to do this is I'm going to go 20 points up from the fold line, and then I'm going to go over 15 points, which puts me centered right here. But so I'll right click and add a machine step, and I'm going to add a hole. This is the center, so I need to go and make a rectangle on these 4 outside corners of the hole. So I'll click, and getting close to the points, it will snap to the correct point. So I've got it all drawn out there. Now what I want to do is at this point here, the one that's selected, I'm going to go at point, at machine step, round off the machine step corners. So now that gives me my hole in the flap. So now that I have the flap with a hole in it, I'm going to use make sure that I've got that flap selected, and I'm going to use my Control-C to copy it, go over to the other side over here, and we'll just paste it. Notice that when I move my mouse on either side of the line, the flap jumps to the line. So make sure that you click on the outside of the line so that that flap is not inside the existing panel. That's fine except for the holes at the wrong end. So what we'll do here is we're going to select that hole, select this panel, go to one of the points on it, and right click at machine step. I want to mirror reverse, and so that brings my hole down to the proper location. So now, before I move on, I want to do a little offset here because you can see the flaps right up against this panel, and that's not going to work. So what we'll do is, this one's already selected. I'm going to go over to the active section and click on my edit offsets, and this one I want to, with this being the fold line, this point is to the left and this is the right, so I want to offset the left side, and I'm going to click on this to set it so that it will use the thickness of the material, and you can see it's offset there. Say OK, then we'll go to the other side, get this flap as well, and edit that offset on the right. Click on our checkbox and that one is offset. So now let's zoom out a little bit so we can see, and I'm going to do my Control-C and bring it up here. I'm going to put it on the opposite side, and now I have the flap in the correct location with the offset. We'll go down here and get this one, Control-C, and paste it. So that's got our flaps with the offsets. I also want to offset this panel here on both sides so that it will fold up inside of the box rather than straight with these other panels. So we'll do the offset the same way, only this time we'll select both the right and the left, and that gives us the double offset. We'll do this one as well, and right and left, or left and right I should say. Okay, now we need to make a hole in our panel here. So let's go ahead and double click on that panel to highlight it, and we want to come in from the end, our 20 points, and down from, we want to come down 15, so we got this again. So this has got to be our center here. So let's go ahead and add a machine step hole, And instead of this being the center, we're going to go here. Right click at machine on the point, and then let's add machine step. We're going to round off the corners. We need to add a machine step from the other side. So we're going to come over the 20, which is right here, and that should be our center. So add machine step hole, and we're going to go and then we're going to round out the corners. And let's go ahead and check this in 3D. We got both our holes in there now. Very good. We're getting close. We're almost done with our box. So let's zoom out here. Make sure we got this one selected. Control C. Come over here and Control V. That takes care of. Now we need to add on the flaps for the lid. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and add at line basic flap. Let me get number 3, and then we'll take and copy this one, and might as well just paste it around to get our lid flaps. And then we need a couple more here. Okay, now this has to have a chamfered corner. So there's a couple ways we can do this, and we'll do it. One, we could select this point here, which is, excuse me, on the point there, it makes that the active point. And we could come over to our active point here in the properties and change this. What I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to, at point, I'm going to chamfer the corner, and I'm going to click on the period, put 3 inches, apply. There we go. Okay. So now on this side, I can use Control R, and it will do the same operation. So the thing that we have left to do is round off the corners on our, and offset these panels. So these little tabs here. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this on the left side, and I'm going to make this a 1/4 inch. I'll do the same over here on the right side. Make this one a 1/4 inch, and then click OK on that. The last thing we want to do is round these corners off. So I'm going to right click on this one, click the point, at point, fillet the corner, and I'm just going to drag my corner out till I think it looks good, and then that looks good. So now I can use the Control R to go around the corners. That makes it easy to do it and quick. Control R, and so now we have the completed box. Let's go ahead and look at it in 2D. We'll send it to Flexi. Move this out of the way, and we can see our box in Flexi. So that's all there is to it. We're all done there, and hope this helps you in your discovery of DisplayGenie. Thank you.